Can JP Crawford be an all-star in 2024? Find out more in today's video. So I kind of just want to preface this video by saying JP Crawford had an absolutely fantastic year in 2023, much improved from years prior. And I just don't want you guys to get the impression that I'm asking too much of him or that I wasn't impressed with his last season, but I do think he can pass a level where he can be an all-star in 2024 by doing certain things. And I'm going to go over some of those things in today's video. So as we all know, JP went to driveline after the 2022 season, and it really showed in the improvements in 2023, especially with the more power that he generated, having a career high of 19 home runs in 2023. So I'm going to start off kind of with certain things that he really excels in, especially that he did really well last season. So the first thing I want to talk about is his success in high leverage situations. If you don't know what a high leverage situation is essentially a at-bat that can change the outcome of a game. So essentially when he would hit a double against Texas to give us the win late in the season, that's essentially a high leverage situation because it changed the outcome of the game, or it has the ability to change the outcome of a game. So last season in these quote-unquote high leverage situations, JP Crawford had 65 plate appearances where he had 19 hits, 5 doubles, and 2 home runs and generated 22 RBIs. He walked 9 times and only had 11 strikeouts in these 65 plate appearances, and he hit a whopping .365. So JP Crawford definitely has that clutch gene, which is really needed, and thank God he does because he really helped us out a lot last season in this situation. I also want to pull up a chart of things such like exit velocity and launch angle so you guys can really see how much he improved from 2022 to 2023. And as you guys can see, there's a lot of up arrows, which means he's improving in a lot of situations. So launch angle, exit velocity, barrel percentage, hard hit rate, sweet spot percentage, all these different things. As you can see, the arrow is going up. So he really had a crazy year and a career high year for him last season. Even though his walk percentage was up as well, his strikeout rate was also up 6.3, so he definitely struck out a lot more. But again, he did hit .266, so you can't really complain much about that. And we obviously know JP Crawford has a fantastic glove at shortstop. He has had better years than he did last year, but he still has a great glove and makes crazy plays. But I kind of just want to talk about a little bit what he has to improve on to even have a better year this year and things that he can really do to really stand out as an all-star candidate in 2024. So I'm going to pull up JP Crawford's first and second half stats from 2022 and 2023. So in the first half of 2022, he hit .265 with 5 home runs and 25 RBIs. And in the second half of that year, he only hit .211 with 1 home run and 17 RBIs. While in the first half of 2023, he hit .253 with 8 home runs and 33 RBIs. And in the second half of 2023, he hit .282 with 32 RBIs and 11 home runs. And going along this topic of how good he did in the second half of last season, he was third amongst all shortstops in the MLB behind Francisco Lindor and Bobby Witt Jr. for the highest WAR in the second half of 2023. But again, you're probably asking yourself, like, what's the point of showing these statistics? So as you can see, JP Crawford, at least the last 2 seasons, either has a really good half or he kind of just has an average to below average half, and it's never really first half he does really well and second half he does really well. I mean, in terms of the second half of 2023, he basically fell off completely. He only hit .211. That's a massive drop off from hitting .265 in the first half. And you could even say similarly last year he hit .253 in the first half, so obviously it wasn't horrible, but he really had a crazy second half hitting .282 with even more home runs. So the first thing that JP Crawford really needs to do in order to be an all-star in 2024 is truly just be consistent. He really hasn't had a full put-together season. He's very split half and half. Sometimes he'll do really well in the first half. Other times he'll do really well in the second half, but never together. And you really do need to have a solid first half to be considered to even be an all-star, but he does have the ability to do that. It's just a matter of if he could figure it out for an entire season instead of just one half or the other. And if you know, he's putting up .282 average, closer to 300 maybe, with 11 plus home runs from a leadoff hitter. He definitely has a solid chance with his glove as well. But let's do what we always do and go to the certain pitches that this player struggles with. So we're going to go over some pitches that JP Crawford really does struggle with and needs to improve on going into this season in order to really keep his numbers up. It's nothing new to us that we know JP is a very aggressive hitter and he loves to swing at the first pitch, especially since he's been in the leadoff spot. He has a few leadoff home runs and some of them even coming on the very first pitch. But it is the MLB, so they will figure him out at some point and eventually realize his over-aggressiveness. So let's pull up the chart and compare 2022 to 2023. So off the four-seam fastball in 2022, JP Crawford hit .255, and in 2023, he hit .313. So he really did figure out the fastball, and I think we can credit that some to driveline because he did hit a lot of home runs off the fastball. Off the slider in 2022, he hit .247, and in 2023, he hit .161. So that's a huge drop-off. That's almost a 100-point drop-off. And again, that could come from his over-aggressiveness that they're going to pick up that he's very aggressive on the fastball, and if he's sitting dead red fastball, they're going to throw him a slider to keep him off balance, and clearly he really struggled with that last season, so he can improve on that going into 2024 and just being more patient. And one thing to really note is he had a 16.1 strikeout percentage against that pitch in 2022, but going into 2023, he had a 28.8, so that's almost a 12% rise in strikeout percentage against the slider. So like I said, they really did start to figure him out at some point. So moving on to the sinker, he hit 274 against it in 2022 and 268 against it. So only a little bit of a drop off from year to year, nothing crazy. One pitch that JP really started to figure out in 2023 was the changeup. In 2022, he only hit 207 against it with a 12.5% strikeout percentage, and in 2023, he hit 268 against it with only a 10.5% strikeout percentage. So he definitely had an improvement on the changeup, which is definitely good that he can recognize that. So truly, for going into 2024 with JP Crawford, he needs to figure out how to be a little bit more patient and expect that slider more often, because obviously they are going to know he's sitting dead red fastball on a lot of pitches, especially to lead off the game. And truly, his goal going into 2024 is just putting together a complete season from start to finish. But overall, JP Crawford had an absolutely massive year in 2023, and he really had a huge improvement from any other season in his career. And I know a lot of you think that he's going to come back down to earth this season and maybe not do as well as he did last year, but I honestly think he only has room to grow. The guy's a hard worker, and he really wants to bring a World Series, just like a lot of other guys do on the team, back to Seattle. And it is really nice to feel when he goes up to the plate in one of those high leverage situations that he will pull through. But yeah, in my personal opinion, the only way JP Crawford can really become an all-star this season is putting together a complete season and really having a solid first half and continuing it into the second half. Obviously, the second half doesn't impact the all-star status, but he really does need to put together a solid first half and then just continue that. And honestly, him continuing that is just going to help the Mariners succeed that much more. Please let me know if you guys do think JP Crawford has the ability to be an all-star in 2024, because I definitely think he does. It's just a matter of him figuring out those two big things out. Otherwise, I hope you guys did enjoy the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.